This cozy corner of the internet is your welcome little distraction, a sliver of sunshine, a glimmer of greatness, and an echo chamber of love. We don't do toxic positivity, but no disparaging drama here either. It's Ash's Mental and Gentle Fitness Club, where I, your cute fitness fairy godmother, dispense some nuggets of encouragement to support you on your mental and physical ascent to self-love. We're not crowbarring ourselves to be anything but our fabulous selves. We just kind of take a more intentional, directed, and optimized approach to help you avoid some pitfalls I've made along the way on my own fitness journey. Disclaimer. I'm not a clinically trained psychologist or certified fitness expert, so please consult with a trusted and vetted professional. I'm just your internet big sis, offering some lived experience and, sadly, hard-earned advice coupled with a lot of encouragement. Today, I kind of want to deviate and take a hard left turn from all the fundamentals of high performance athletic training, give a reverential nod and prudent little pause to the much maligned concept of rest, rhythm of rest. We're going from smug gym rat, green-eyed, ice in your veins, weightlifting monster to fluffing your pillows and resting your pretty head in a charmed moment of recreational rest and R&R. By and large, there's a lot of misconceptions around the word rest. You know, in our rapid fire pace world, rest is countercultural. Just think of it. For some, it's a byword for laziness, unceremonious puttering around, and kind of a self-invented and flippant excuse to skip the gym. It's a charged word, and has some negative connotations to it that today I want to demystify, dispel, and debunk. We've been egregiously misinformed on rest. Rest is missional. It serves a transcendent and huge purpose to our peak performance pursuit. We all want the gains and the upward growth spiral of fitness, and in order to get that, rest is required. Full stop. Non-optional. It's mandatory. It's a perplexing paradox. We're told in our bustling and manic lives that what you put in, exertion, is equal to what you receive, aka results. But with dynamic training, this idea is kind of flipped on its head and subverted. Rest is part and parcel to training. You should plan and calendar rest in just like you do your split days. So intentional rest and deloading plays in concert and orchestration with your muscle mommy gloves. We don't want you spinning out, having a high propensity to injury, being a liability in these streets. It's a non-functional hot mess express, feeling all burnt out, sad, run ragged, and kind of crumbly. You know that feeling? Forced to skip leg day? Oh my days. Because you've neglected to rest on the advisement of Ash, and now your lower back is pretzeled and a steaming pile of mush. I've single-handedly done this to my poor flagging body many times, so this is coming from lived experience. I'd be remiss if I didn't share the bounty of benefits of rest. As that old aphorism goes, if you don't make time for your health, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. Well, good gravy! Let's get into it. I know you might be a little dubious and skeptical about the notion of rest as part of your training, but it's true. And I do have it on good authority. I'm not just making this all up. Contrary to popular belief, rest and training aren't mutually exclusive. They're actually mutually compatible. So take off your ish kickers, sleep in, don't push that boulder up the hill. I can literally feel the spirit of David Goggins bristle within me as I said that out loud. Put a fork in your training, you're done. Seems antithetical to your 2023 perfectly laid out get hard goals. We should be beating up a sweat 5 days a week concurrently, right? But empirically and according to the fitness aficionados, muscle growth occurs during your recovery period, not during your merciless gladiatorial training. The experts have actually co-signed on this well-established fact. They recommend at least 48 hours of rest between workouts. Little clause and disclaimer here, there's no purity test for exact recovery time because they're all contingent on individuation and an array of personal factors. Here's the catch-all equation. Muscle growth equals right stimulus plus sufficient recovery. In life, sometimes you follow the same recipe and get the same results, whether it's good or bad. So let's follow the crumbs with this one. Upon closer inspection with the science, resistance training causes damage, the good kind. When you do compound lifts and vigorous weightlifting, it causes micro tears to your muscle fibers. But our bodies are brilliant because in the wake of training, our bodies get busy and repair these lacerated muscle fibers. It does this through the process of protein synthesis that neutralizes this damage. And this cycle of breakdown, repair, rinse, lathers, and repeats itself. In summary, our muscles are highly intelligent and agile. They adapt to our self-imposed damage by growing bigger and stronger. It's actually a pretty cool phenomenon. It's called MPS, muscle protein synthesis. And it all depends on your intensity and level of conditioning of your workouts. So if you're loading heavy, the longer the MPS period. Now, advanced and elite lifters typically have a shorter MPS window than freshly minted newbies at the gym because their bodies have adapted to the stress and load. Like that formula I mentioned earlier, right stimulus is paramount. Stimulus needs to be enough to encourage adaptation and MPS. Again, there's always a host of factors that can affect MPS for different people, so we can't make broad brush sweeping conclusions. These cocktail of factors can include total protein intake, sleep cadence, stress, diet, gender, and age. Physiological and lifestyle factors also affect your MPS, so there's no puritanical science to it. Also, intensity extends the shelf life of MPS, so if you do moderate intensity and not maybe as rigorous or taxing training, your MPS doesn't extend as long. Kind of informs how long you wait before your next training regimen on that muscle group that was either super stressed out or below average stressed. And let's not forget the equal opportunity offender or defender here, glycogen. Your muscles store and hoard carbohydrates in the form of glycogen. During your training, your body breaks down glycogen to give you the gas and fuel to orbit that weight room and move. So rest and recovery allows your body to replenish this repository or energy store of glycogen before your next sweat sesh. Your muscles' glycogen stores need some refilling, obviously. So if we don't refill, this is when you kind of get into overtraining induced fatigue. So on your rest days, get those complex carbs in. Glycogen is that kind of magic elixir molecule that fuels all your energy in your workouts. So with overtraining, you always want to balance the scales here. You never want muscle breakdown to exceed and trump MPS, muscle protein synthesis. If you're doing chronic workouts, you can actually lose muscle mass because you're not giving MPS enough time to do its thing. Point of diminishing returns is kind of when input precipitously decreases output. And we kind of hate that, especially in the realm of fitness. So two biggest warriors in life, patience and time. Give your body time to do its alchemy and magic of muscle growth and just chill. 4 is won in the general's 10. In this case, muscle growth is won on the featherbed couch, bed, or velvety fainting couch, whatever you have at home that induces rest. This cautionary tale reminds us overtraining not only leads to plateaus in muscle gain, but it can also adversely affect your performance in training. So it's kind of a negative feedback loop cycle if you're not taking your rest days. So ask yourself these truth-bearing, illuminating, and clarifying questions to see if you're leaning too hard into training. Ask yourself, am I excessively tired and foggy-brained, dull and muddled thinking? Is melancholy and malaise and depression kind of settling in? Are my muscles feeling feeble? Are they feeling brittle? Am I feeling weak? Am I perpetually getting injured? Do my workouts feel more of a grind even though nothing's changed in my programming? Am I chasing sleep? I can usually catch myself border into burnout land when, I'm stonewalling friends and family, becoming a little insufferable and sour and salty, and general countenance and temperament. So if you experience some of these telltale signs of workout burnout, it could be a signpost that your training is suboptimal and is working against you, not for you. Remember, training should augment and supplement our lives, not undermine or make us feel worse for the wear. So let's put parameters around these overtraining pitfalls. Might have you in a tizzy with all this kind of scholarly fitness facts and barrage of info, leaving you wondering, so what's optimal then? There's many schools of thought on this topic, but let's just keep this simple for the sake of economy in our already info-dense world. There's no silver bullet answer, but according to a 2016 research in sports medicine, training each muscle group 2 days per week is efficacious and good. So for all intents and purposes, they recommend split training in which you train each muscle group twice a week. According to their study, this implicit rule encourages muscle hypertrophy and growth. This all depends on training volume and frequency, of course, but there's two-pronged variables that will inform your rest rhythms. So if your training volume is high, you might want to take additional rest days in the cardinal 48-hour rule. Again, although this is tried and tested, it's suggested. It's not a hard and fast rule. Again, your body is the best barometer read and litmus track. I implore thee. You can't compare your needs to your counterparts or gym girlies. Next time you work out, ask yourself honestly, do I feel fresh or fatigued? Do I feel like puke warmed up or right leg frame? Always do a yay or nay cost-benefit analysis. If you're feeling fatigued after workouts, even with rest days in between, you may need to dial things down or tweak the volume so you don't go into that territory of counterproductivity. Training is a journey that requires constant workshopping. Just like a car needs operational maintenance, we can turn misfires with overtraining with just tiny adjustments. Don't forget, fuel is essential to recovery and growth. Calories are king. Now that we know our general rule of thumb and guiding principle is 48 hours of rest between workouts, let's reverse engineer how we muscle mamas want to spend our rest days. What typifies an ideal rest day? Time to rest is an afforded luxury, so use it wisely. Active recovery is also a North Star for recovery days too. Especially if your temperament is you kind of can't sit still like me and just do nothing. The trick here is you want to channel your energy but not activate your nervous system. Great ways you can do this is with brisk walks, gentle yoga, biking, dancing, my favorite, swimming, and even mobility work. These outlying the gym are healthy. Gyms are social watering holes and stomping grounds for some, but broaden that social circle and take new classes. There's also a art of doing nothing, just to give your mind and body, a break from all the stimulus and external input. It does take a trained mind to sit with your thoughts, but it's super helpful to have those days where you're kind of kicking rocks and doing nothing. I like to meditate on very low impact recovery days. It helps me center and slow down my thoughts. Sometimes my thoughts are like a whack-a-mole and I am kind of trying to whip them into submission. Cute little stolen moments with yourself to quit poisoning the well that is your mind. Take a beat, breathe, and notice how your body and mind are actually doing. You might feel out of your depth with meditation when you do it at first, but once you've done 5 to 10 minutes, you have a few less screws loose in your brain and you're not sinking into your own stank, To put a bow on this and wrap this up, I want to key into your gorgeous brains. Rest days are a misnomer. It's more like growth days. We need to start treating them as such and lean into them and befriend them. Set reminders in your calendar and be intentional about rest. We want to train for a long time and have that kind of enduring staying power. So to do that, we need to have rest as our top billing priority. Don't drink the Kool-Aid of more output equals better results. If joy is noticeably absent in your workouts, it's time to reevaluate. Don't worry if rest feels kind of ill-fitting for you or just weird. It will soon fit into your lifestyle, and programming hand in glove. Just takes practice and time like training does. Rest is your ace card. Someone once told me the maturation of an athlete is when they treat their rest days the same as their training ones, with reverence. So do you want to be an adorable mess, always injured, or a self-respecting athlete with autonomy and agency to take care of themselves? Do you want to evolve at the gym or devolve? Now go. Deploy these rest tactics. The positive benefits will start snowballing big time, I promise. Until next time.